From the Nets' weak defense in the Eastern Conference to barely managing to stay in the middle of the standings, here's the real reason why they'll continue to struggle without Ben Simmons. Starting with how hard this season's been without him. By now, he's had to sit out his 17th consecutive game due to an injury. It's his 33rd absence in the 75 games they've played this season. Coach Jacques Vaughn has even said that they don't expect him to play again this season. As for why, well, he's being treated for a nerve impingement in his back. So, as much as the coach would like to have Simmons back on the court, he knows it's out of his control.
With the Pistons. Here's Simmons bodying down. Simmons taking his time and finishing the first basket.
According to Shams Charania of the Athletic and Stadium, he's starting a rehab program to address the injury. But the coach had previously stated that the player was unlikely to return for the rest of the season. It's not surprising because back issues can be tricky to treat and can linger long after surgery. This was the case with him last year too, when he missed the entire 2021-22 season. There were already concerns about whether he could regain his peak form after that lengthy absence, and his recent performance has only amplified those concerns. I mean, he's struggled with low numbers ever since joining the Nets this season.
Durant looking to push. Look out from behind. Holiday. Now Irving sees a seam, drops it off. Simmons dishes. Durant from 15.
Of course, this has led to internal frustration directed at him. Unfortunately for the Nets, he's still under contract for 2 more seasons, and his continued back troubles only make it harder for the organization to rebuild his trade value. The Nets have announced that they'll be taking a closer look at the best long-term treatment plans for Simmons, so it's unclear when he'll be back on the court. For now, they're relying on specialists to help them make the right decision, because our boy has had a pretty tough season.
They call it brickin' for chicken.
You see, this isn't his first injury. We're talking left knee soreness and a left calf strain as well. All those injuries have cost him just 6.9 points per game and a 44% free throw rate. But we all know he's a 3-time All-Star and a talented player, so let's hope he'll be back to his best soon. It's worth noting that he didn't play at all last season, citing mental health issues and a back injury. He started last season with the Philadelphia 76ers before being traded to Brooklyn in exchange for James Harden. Simmons is making a whopping $35.4 million this season, and he's due to earn another $78.2 million over the next 2 seasons.
We'll take a look at the beauty of a pass as a dime. Simmons with the punch. What a play in transition. Yeah.
Needless to say, it's a huge investment for the team, so they'll be doing all they can to help him recover and get back on the court. But until that happens, can the Brooklyn Nets survive without him? Well, he's an incredibly versatile player who brings a unique skill set to the table. Not only is an elite defender, but he's also a gifted playmaker and a capable scorer. I mean, the man can play multiple positions, which has made him an invaluable asset to the Brooklyn Nets. One of Simmons' biggest strengths is his ability to guard multiple positions though. And let's not forget about his ability to disrupt opposing offenses, protect the rim, and create opportunities for his teammates.
O'Neal there defensively closes in, double team. Simmons with a steal. Simmons looks for Durant. Oh, Durant with a man's jam to tie the game.
There's no denying that he's been a major asset to the Nets this season. And without him, the team will have to find new ways to protect the rim, which could be a major challenge. I mean, our boy can make plays that only a few other players in the league can. So his absence has left a void that the team needs to fill, both in terms of leadership and on the court. I mean, the man has allowed the Nets to experiment with different lineups and strategies. With him on the court, the team can play small ball with multiple players who can play multiple positions. This has given them a unique advantage, creating mismatches on both ends of the court and keeping opposing teams off balance. Without him, the Nets will have to adjust their game plan and find new ways to win. This will be a huge challenge. They'll also need to find new ways to bring the team together and maintain their chemistry without Simmons' leadership.
Those little actions in early offense, though, are the things you look for in the preseason.
Oh, Simmons over his head to Claxton for the flush.
Needless to say, it's going to be an interesting season for the Nets without him, and it might take a while for him to return as well. I mean, he hasn't been free of injuries for a hot minute, and to make matters worse, his team's been struggling to win games recently, but they did manage to beat Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference and place 6th overall, so maybe they've already adapted without him. Either way, losing the player is still a major blow to the team's playoff hopes. I mean, 6th is no good, let's be real. It's clear by now that it's hard for the Nets to win games without him, but just like how they beat Orlando Magic with their talented roster and smart coaching staff, the Nets still have a fighting chance. Sure, it's a big challenge
of who needs to get the ball when. He's got a true point guard mentality.
Cam Johnson, a three to start things off for his next career. And a steal by Bridges, and he puts it back in.
but one that the team is capable of overcoming. I mean, they have some of the best players in the league, including Kevin Durant and James Harden. They can step up and take on a bigger role in Simmons' absence. But his injury isn't just a short-term problem for the Nets. It also raises questions about the team's long-term plans. It's a shame too, because the Nets traded for him in the offseason, and they were hoping that he'd be a key piece of their championship puzzle. So his injury throws a wrench into those plans. If the team can't make a deep playoff run without him, they may need to rethink their strategy. So they have a lot of work cut out for them.
Simmons, take a little hook shot, can't get it to go. Claxton finds Simmons cutting, and he will dump that one in.
I mean, the defensive struggle has been a constant issue for the team, and it's clear that they'll need to find new ways to shore up their defense without him. But what does its absence mean for the Nets' playoff prospects? Well, currently, they're sitting in the middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference standings, and it's unclear whether they'll be able to maintain their position without Simmons. It's a challenging task ahead of them, but it's not impossible. The Nets can still make a deep run in the postseason.
Mr. Softy. That's tough. He's hustling, though. He gets the steal, and then Durant throws down the slam, and he is fired up. Look at him.
The performance of their other star players will be critical to their playoff prospects without him. So, Kevin Durant and James Harden will need to carry the team on their shoulders. This isn't so far-fetched because they're both experienced playoff performers, but they'll need to step up their game even further if they want to come out on top. Another factor that'll be crucial for the Nets is their depth. Players like Joe Harris, Blake Griffin, and Jeff Green will also need to step up to provide additional scoring and defensive support. And the team's bench players will need to be ready to contribute. The Nets will also need to make adjustments to their game plan by finding new ways to win, which may mean relying more heavily on their perimeter shooting, playing more small ball, or experimenting with new defensive schemes.
They're going to ride with it. Consistency matters. Nice lead. This time Dinwiddie sets up Ben Simmons with the lob.
Of course, the coaching staff also plays a critical role in making these adjustments and keeping the team focused and motivated. Overall, the Nets' playoff prospects without Simmons are uncertain, but they still have a lot of talent to rely on. With Durant and Harden leading the way, the team has the firepower to compete with any team in the league. But the biggest challenge without their star boy is particularly on the defensive end and in terms of team chemistry. It remains to be seen how successful they'll be.
Factor here against the Grizzlies with how they're able to operate in the post and get to the basket.
Simmons entering the post, wheels around, and he hits. How about that?
For now, that's all I have for you on why the Nets will struggle without Simmons.